So there have been a lot of comments on the channel about complaints on the new 2024 Toyota Tacoma and recalls. Now, I will say, first off, I did post a video a couple of days ago about one recall on the new Toyota Tacoma. So if you want to see that, I'll link it down below. But let's talk about complaints. I went out to the NHTSA, that's the National Highway Traffic and Safety, Administration, to see just how many valid complaints there are about the 2024 Toyota Tacoma. So let's flip over here to the laptop. We're going to take a look. As you can see right here, there have been 21 registered complaints. These are valid complaints from real people, right? Now, we'll run through real quick the list of the different systems. There are a few. Electrical systems, 2 complaints. Forward collision avoidance, 1 complaint. Lane departure, 1 complaint. Powertrain, which is what we're going to talk about, 15 complaints. Seat belts, 1. Seats, 1. Service brakes, 1. And visibility, 2. So let's get into the powertrain complaints, because of all these listed, those are the biggest dollars if this wasn't under warranty, and the biggest problems, right? Powertrain is going to deal mostly, from what I've seen here, on transmission. So I've already got it highlighted down below. You can see. Let's get into it and see what people are saying briefly. I'm not going to read every description here, or the full length anyway. But the first one says, 8-speed transmission exhibited difficulty in downshifting to lower gears. Loud rumbling sound could be heard inside of the truck cab. Also, upon inspection, found transmission fluid leaking on the garage floor. This is a pretty significant complaint, right? All of this occurred at less than 400 total miles on the vehicle. It was inspected by the local Toyota service department and determined to be a defective transmission that must be replaced. Bummer. I feel sorry for this person. That really sucks. Let's go on to the next one. 5,000 miles in the new 2024 Tacoma. TRD Sport auto transmission stopped working. Gears 1 through 5 stopped engaging. Truck was stuck on a road, unable to move because the truck was trying to start in 6th gear. Got the truck towed to a dealer, and apparently the transmission again needs to be replaced. Not good. Next up, this next person says they owned a 2024 Toyota Tacoma, was driving at an undisclosed speed. The vehicle stalled. No warning light was illuminated. They said they restarted it, drove it to their residence. It was towed to the dealer. The transmission was stuck in 6th gear, and the transmission needed to be replaced. That's a bummer. Now, the failure mileage was about 2,300. All of these so far have been very low miles. Let's go to the next one. This says, pulled into a parking lot spot, put the car in park, engine stalled, check engine light came on with engine control system malfunctioning or warning. Car will not start or completely turn off. So if it won't start, I don't know how it can't completely turn off. Maybe it's just the auxiliary type power stays on. Now, this one, while falling under the engine area, and since there's been some other transmission problems, I would say this is probably transmission related, but it does not specify. Moving on, new vehicle abruptly began rumbling and shuddering. Vehicle became increasingly difficult to steer and control. Out of concern for driver safety, vehicle was towed to the dealer, diagnosed and failed universal joint bearing and subsequent drive shaft damage. This is not transmission related at all. However, it is a problem. Next up, truck is acting like it's in neutral sometimes while driving, will rev super high when going down the highway at 60, as well as going from a standstill. Shifting, usually the manual transmission mode does not help it at all, as it is still, as it still has the same issues. To make a long story short, thank goodness, the truck was having hard shifts and comes out of gear while moving and stopped. Obviously, a transmission problem. Next up, transmission experienced rough shifting from reverse to drive, immediately followed by the inability to access gears 1 through 5. The transmission was within normal operating temperatures per the onboard temperature readings. So they did check to make sure it wasn't overheated. Going into park or neutral did not fix the issue. Stopping and restarting the engine allowed access to lower gears briefly, but once the vehicle shifted up, it could no longer access the lower gears. Shortly after this, the check engine light illuminated and the vehicle went into limp mode. Well, at least it didn't leave them stranded. This is another transmission issue. Next up, let's see. This is a great big giant long post. We're not going to read it all. You can see it maybe on the screen there. You can read through it a little bit if you want. In the end, seems like there is some sort of transmission problem with this as well. Seems like they've got a lot of problems with this one. I'm not sure here. This one's actually located overseas. Next up, the contact owns a 2024 Toyota Tacoma. Stated while driving at an undisclosed speed, the transmission failed to function as intended. Only shifted into first and second gear, taken to the dealer where it was diagnosed with transmission failure. The transmission needed to be replaced. This truck only had 2,543 miles. We're almost at the end here. When pulling out of my driveway, I noticed when I pressed the gas pedal, my truck barely moved, felt like it was in neutral. Let's see, took it to the dealer, and they need a transmission replacement. Could not give a time for the parts though. Well, that's not surprising since it's a relatively new. I mean, we are in August going into September now. Let's see, we are on the last page here. We have a handful more. Let's run through them real quickly. Vehicle only has 209 miles and the transmission is out, not drivable. Bummer. Brand new 2024 Tacoma TRD off-road automatic, 2,700 miles, 2 weeks old. Dealership called, reported the entire transmission needed to be replaced after being at the Toyota dealership for a week. Bummer. Moving on to the next one. Let's see, owns a 2024 Tacoma. While driving at 10 miles an hour and depressing the accelerator pedal, the vehicle stalled. There was no warning light illuminated. Let's see, it was diagnosed the transmission had failed, needed to be replaced. However, the part to repair the vehicle was not available. That would be the transmission, obviously. And it had 989 miles. Again, all low mileage problems. We have two left. Vibration between 25 and 45. Confirmed by the dealer technician, possible transmission issue. Nothing else stated on this one, but again, another transmission problem. And lastly, let's see, had the vehicle for about a month, 1,245 miles. Pulled out onto the road and the vehicle shifted into neutral. After a minute or so, the vehicle then slammed back into gear. It did this 2 or 3 times. Let's see what the resolution here. I'm sure this is going to be another transmission replacement. Yeah, it says here that it will need a new transmission, and there were similar issues on new Tacomas across the U.S. So apparently, according to reports, again, there are 15 of them, 21 total, but 15 related to transmission. And actually, you might take one off of that, so really maybe only 14. That's not that bad. There have been 88,008 Toyota Tacomas sold so far this year, as of when I looked up the number for this video. That would equate to 0.00017%. Not very many, and I'm not downplaying this. I mean, obviously, if you're one of these folks that have one of these trucks, or one of the ones that are going to, because you know it's not going to stop there. I think 14, it's not a lot. I looked back, by the way, just to see how many reported incidents overall there were with the 2023 Tacoma, you know, the prior model year and the third gen. There were 23 for the whole year. So we're already at 21, a little more than halfway through the year on the 2024 Tacoma, shaping up to not be a great year for the Toyota Tacoma. Anyway, I just wanted to get on, check some real numbers from actual reported problems with the Tacoma, let you guys know what's going on. You can check these out yourself. Again, they're on the NHTSA website. So don't take my word for it. If you want to check, go ahead and have a look. We'll see what happens. Does 0.00017% justify a full recall? I doubt it. But if the number grows, there probably will be. Leave a comment. Let me know. Do you have any problems with your 2024 if you've gotten one? Or does this scare you away from buying a 2024 Tacoma? I'd be curious to know. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.